Hello and welcome to Vinsloev Academy. This is part 3 in our StarCraft 2 AI tutorial. In the last two lectures we learned how to get our game up and running, make our bot create a supply depot as we see here, and after that it will create a barrack such that we can start produce marines. But we have yet to learn how to produce these marines, so that is what we're going to do in this lecture right here. If you haven't watched the two previous sections, then in the top right corner you will find a link to the videos, and then you can learn how to build this current script version that we have right here. So we'll build on top of what has been learned in part 2. So we'll start off by creating a new method here where we will be saying build marines. So this will be the method that we'll be using to build the marines, or tell our script to build marines whenever we have less than 4 marines in the game. And when we first build our barracks, we of course have 0 marines. So we will say marine, which is our variable within this method, and then we will say self dot get units by type, which is the method that we created in previous lectures right here. And then we will say ops, which is the world that we are observing, and then we will say units dot Terran, because we are playing as a Terran, and we want the unit to be a marine. So now we will have the entire observed marines stored in this variable, so the count of them. So now we can make a check and say if the length of the marine is less than or equals to 4, we should do something. So this means whenever we have more than 4 marines, this code that we are writing here will not be executed. So you can make this 10 or a dynamic value by making it calculate randomly, but we'll just stick with 4 here. And then we will say if self dot unit type is selected, which is also one of the methods that we have been creating from previous videos. And then we will say ops, and we will say units dot Terran, and then we will say barracks, because now we need to know, need to have the barracks selected in order for us to create marines. So if this checks go true, we will make another check and say actions dot functions, and then we will say train marine quick. And remember from last lecture that if you click into this class here, you can see all the functions that you have available right here. So we are just using the one where we train a marine, and there is a lot of other stuff to train, basically everything that you can create within StarCraft 2. So we'll be using the train marine quick, and then we will say in, and then we will say ops dot observation dot available actions. So what this is doing is checking whether the function train marine quick, the ID of that, is available within the available actions that we can do based on what we're observing right now. So I will show you this when we execute the application, that the actions that we are capable of doing shift based on what we are selecting in the game. And in here we will say return true, and if not, we will say return false. And we'll just do like this, and it should be capital F, like so. And now we just need to call this method right here. So we'll go up where we have executed the build supply depot and the build barracks, and then we will say if build, let's see, here. So we'll say if build marines, and we will say self observer, like so. And let's see, unsolved reference. So does it have to write? Oh, and as you see here, the reason why we can see this is because we didn't build it in the right space. So we'll just select this and take it one step out like so. And now this error is resolved. And that is what you have to pay attention with when coding Pythons. You need to have the right intention, and basically if we do like this, the code suddenly start to mean something else and we'll also get an error. So it is important to be aware of this. So we'll go back here and then we will say return actions dot functions, and then we will say train. So here we are going to use this marine quick action, so train marine quick, and we are going to do this now, meaning that whenever we have passed this check here, which is the method here that will return true if we have less than 4 marines, if the barracks is selected, and if this action is available, then we will be executing this function, and we are going to do it now. Now we just need to make something that will select the barrack for us, because currently we only have this drone select. So we are going to make a similar feature like this. So we are going to copy this here, and then we will say barracks instead, and just like so for our local variable. And then we will just say, instead of scv, we'll be using barracks. And then we will say if the length of barracks is higher than 0, meaning that we have at least one barrack available, then we will say return actions functions and select point, and then we are going to do a select all type, so similar to the exact line here, but instead of having drones we'll just be having barracks.x and barracks.y, and we are going to have these within parentheses like so, and just an ending one here. So now we should have the code needed, so let's see. We will just be executing this and see if we will be creating some marines. So what our application should be doing now is it will check if it have less than 4 marines, and that means 4 created marines. So it will probably spam our barracks with creating marines until we have 4 created. So we'll actually be getting 9 marines in total, because it will create 5 marines in queue, and then it will pop one out, create one new in queue, and so on until it have 4 marines on the board, and then it still have marines in the queue. So we are building our supply depot, and if we go to this window, we'll see the actions right here. So this is what is going to shift and what we are checking for. Oh, we had an error, and that is because we forgot the line where we choose a random barrack. So we'll just say barrack, and we'll say equals random choice, and it should pick from the barracks if we have created more. And then this should not be the barracks, but simply just a single barrack. And now we'll try and run this. So we are creating a supply depot right here, and following that we should be creating our barracks, and that will be created right here. And let's see, we had an error, and that is probably because we, let's see, build marines. Yeah, we capitalized this, and that is not supposed to be capitalized. And we also forgot to capitalize this, and let's see if we also forgot it up top here. So function select, and yeah, so we'll just be saying functions like so, and then we will try execute again. So in this window we see the actions that is available, and that is the ones we have used, like train, marine, quick, and these will change based on what is selected. So now we'll be creating our barrack, and once that's complete we should start pumping out marines. So let's see, and here we are now creating 5 marines, and we will be training one. There comes one, and we will queue another one, and basically that is how we are training simple units with this AI script. So in the next lecture we'll be looking at defense and attack. So see you here in Vinsloev Academy.